Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching the Gadget Show live right here from the NEC. Apollo will be joining me for the next cast, and we'll be actually going straight into the game by the looks of it, so no need for commercial breaks. We're going straight into Socke v Sjow, which I believe is actually a losers bracket set. It's going to be a new PVT. We'll have a look at the brackets right now. You can check those out, by the way, on Esports Heaven. Yes, that's esportsheaven.net. If you have a look at the tournament brackets, you'll be very easily able to see that. The losers bracket right now, Socke v Sjow. One of these guys is going out of the tournament. And you might think, well, that's an upset. But the thing is, every player in this tournament is exceptional. So some of them have got to go down. Looking forward to this one. This is going to be particularly violent, and looks like I don't think we're going to be able to get Apollo in for this particular cast, but we'll definitely go for it in the next one. We're getting very, very fast-paced through these games. Obviously, we'll need to get everything done before the end of this. And here we go, folks. Countdown into the loading screen. Violence is abound. Tal'Darim Altar will be the venue for this particular encounter, and here we go. Socke in the baby blue trunks right here, playing Protoss up to the northwest of this particular map versus his opponent, the one and only Sjow. He is in the red trunks, and he is playing Terran. Sjow from Team Dignitas and Socke from Team Attacks. Both of these guys have been playing really, really well up until this point. However, they have met their match. As I recall, Sjow went down against Select, and Socke went down against Naniwa. Mirror matches, very unfortunate, but that's what ended up happening. One of these guys is going out. If Sjow goes out, it will only leave a single Terran in this particular tournament versus 4 Protoss. That will be interesting. If Socke goes out, that'll of course take us down from 4 Protoss to 3, and that will be 2 Terran in there as well. And no, there are no Zerg in this particular tournament. We did have one coming in, but unfortunately he wasn't able to attend. Well, well. I'm looking forward to it. Don't know about the rest of you. Maybe you guys are just waking up, a little bit tired. Well, hey, got some early morning Starcraft action. We're not really in the swing of things. Our mind is not suitably juiced and suitably hyped. I disagree. Those watching on the Gadget Show floor, witnessing the excitement of esports, and that's exactly what it is, folks. £5,000 on the line for these guys. Internationally recognized players, top of their game. Pirates coming down right here for Sjow. Gateway opening for Socke as well. I wouldn't expect Socke to play anything other than his standard, very efficient, solid builds, honestly. And Sjow has been doing fairly well until this point, but he has been looking weaker than his teammate Select, I have to say. Select has been on top form, whereas I wouldn't say that Sjow has been playing to his absolute maximum. Sjow has been once again introducing us to the concept of the heroic Banshee. He's been throwing out a lot of air. In fact, in the early stage of this tournament, he was throwing down a lot of Vikings and Banshees. It was reasonably effective, although not as effective as we saw in the DreamHack Invitational, of course, where that hero Banshee was annihilating everything in sight. His Banshee play is still very, very good, though. He seems to have transitioned over from using Hellions for most things and then going into Banshees, which certainly seems to make more sense with the current dynamic of the game and the size of the maps. A lot of harassment capability, particularly from the sides of this. We have a look at Tal'Darim Altar. I mean, there's all sorts of areas you can attack from the air, whereas there are a lot of choke points that you can use to, 1, see Hellions coming, and 2, prevent them from coming entirely. Is Sjow looking to prevent a scout? It looks like he actually has managed to do that right now, indeed. No scouting information has been gained by Socke. Sjow hasn't opened up with anything special as of yet. And no, yes, indeed, no gas down because he's going for an extremely early command center. He's used this build before, actually. No refineries into a command center and then double refinery after that. And just relying on Marines for initial defense. And now it depends as to whether or not Socke actually goes for an early push as to just how effective this build will actually be. It's quite weak in the early game for obvious reasons. Doesn't have a lot of firepower available at its disposal. It's relying on a bunker. It's relying on Marines. If you get a big Stalker push early on in the game, it could be very dangerous. Socke pushing out a Stalker and then into a Sentry. Could be seeing an expansion to follow that one up. It would kind of make sense. Socke's money is getting up to the point where he certainly could look to expand right now. His gas count is not all that high. Doesn't really need to be. 1 and 2 gateways going down. Will it be followed up by a robotics facility? It would kind of make sense. He's been doing that versus Terran pretty much this entire tournament, and I wouldn't really blame him for that. Of course, we could see a 4 gateway play from Socke. It's not unheard of, but it is fairly rare. It's not the most common thing to see. Now, if we have a look at the economic situation, what you'll notice is that it's fairly equal for the time being, but it won't stay that way as a result of this expansion up here, which is almost complete. The worker supply count is in Socke's favor. It will not stay that way. No expansion right now for Socke as of yet. Not looking for it. He will have the money quite soon. We'll have to see whether or not he actually decides to do that. His gas count is getting up quite high, so either he's going to go into robotics or he's going to pump out another sentry and then go for the expansion. We'll find out very quickly. 2 more gateways down, and surely we'll find out very, very soon as to what he decides to go for. In the meantime, factory coming down right here for Sjow. Bunker defenses are up, and there we go. Fully operational orbital command center right now for Sjow, and his economy is going to start getting rolling. And looks like Socke will start to get aggressive. He does have a frontal pylon right there. Doesn't have a 4th gateway. So his capacity for applying a lot of pressure is fairly limited. But bear in mind, Sjow's capacity for defense right now is not great. He has no Marauders, he's got no tanks, he's got nothing else, really. He could be going straight into Banshee from here. His factory is there, his gas count is high enough to go into a starport. Socke's aggression could really apply an awful lot of pain right here to Sjow. Those 2 bunkers will prove to be problematic. However, look at this. That is a lot of Stalker firepower. He start to inflict. Having to pull it off the line right there. Loses 1 Stalker going in, and 1 bunker going to be going down immediately. There's the repair. Needs to bring it down as rapidly as possible. Loses 1 cell, loses 2. Excellent repairs there by Sjow, and he's got to force him back right there. Socke's aggression not really quite quick enough. He was 1 second away from taking that bunker down before he was able to do that, and he also didn't use the force field to split off those workers. However, Sjow's had to pull off the mineral line, which is economic damage in and of itself. 1 SCV sniped off right here. Socke continuing to nail him down. That's another free SCV for him, and not a lot of damage coming in from here. More Marines coming out here for Sjow, however, and he's forced on the defensive. He's not able to tech right now, so this is a good play by Socke. Keep applying that pressure and expand behind it, of course. However, there is a siege tank on the way. Another free SCV. Can he take another one? It's what he looks for right here. However, he doesn't quite have the speed to deal with that. That's 7 workers killed. That is good play there by Socke. Once again, bringing it down on the Marines. However, he's in a risky position. Get caught out of position. 2 more Stalkers moving in. Does he have the firepower he needs? It looks like he does. Couple of free hits scored right there. Snipes off another. Looks for another good focus fire right into the bunker. And it's going to be a little bit difficult to assail that. He might be able to, though. He'll certainly be able to take off a few free snipes at it. Robotics facility on the way, looking to try and get an Immortal, of course, to try and crack that particular bunker line, although it's not going to happen right now, and Sjow in a reasonable position. Now, income-wise, that really did not help Sjow in any way, shape, or form. That's a lot of workers lost. If we have a look at the count right now, worker supply in favor of Socke by a fairly significant margin. It's going to get even better now that he's got that Nexus up right now, looking in a good position. Forge coming down right now for Socke. Robotics facility almost complete. Siege tech coming up. Sjow forced on the defensive is never a good thing. That said, Sjow does have some excellent siege tank play, as we have seen in previous rounds. He's quite patient when he needs to be, and he'll be able to play this one very well. Raven on the way out as well. Not entirely surprising, considering the number of Stalkers that were on the field right there. Also, detection for Dark Templar will be handy. Ground armor upgrade coming up for Socke once again, because all he's faced right now are Marines. The tanks are on the way, though. So I can't expect to see a huge amount of Marines coming out in the near future. He's going to focus on his tanks, focus on getting his tech up, and blink Stalkers, by the looks of it, coming out for him. Twilight Council for Socke. No Zealots, so I have to assume blink for that. Of course, DTs are also a possibility, as are High Templar. We've seen all sorts of things broken out in this particular tournament. It's all worked out very, very well so far for the Protoss players. Stimpack on its way up for Sjow very, very late. Not that you can really blame him, honestly, trying to get tanks out to make sure that he can hold this line. That Stimpack so very late right now. Honestly, Socke could have probably won that with a 4-gateway push. He really could have. He could have cracked that. With those couple of extra units, it would have probably made the difference. However, Socke is going to have to run straight into a line of tanks right now. And call me an idiot, folks, if you like, but Zealot charge is on its way, regardless of the fact there were barely any Zealots. In fact, no Zealots on the field when he started that. That's interesting, considering what he's got on the field right now. I would have expected Blink Stalkers, but hey, nothing wrong with that. Robotics Bay to back that up as well. Colossi will be deployed in the not-too-distant future, and an Observer out here for Socke as well. Sjow pumping out those tanks, holding that defense, doing what Terrans do best, which is to sit around and do absolutely nothing and let people wander into their guns. It's an effective strategy, and I would not suggest that you question it. Not worthwhile. Socke's pylon's still there, able to apply some pressure. However, I'd be rather concerned about the presence of those tanks, and that's a lot of goddamn tanks. We're looking at 4 of them right here. He's going to be able to blow his way through there. Hey, free Zealot, why not? Let's take it. And Destructible Rock's taken out in the expansion coming up right here for Sjow. If Sjow's able to regain that economic momentum, he's going to be in a good position. His economy's all right. It's not amazing, but it's okay. And his worker supply count still lagging a little bit behind Socke, but he does still have the mules, so I wouldn't be too concerned with Socke right now. +1 ground weapon upgrade coming up for Socke. Charge on the way as well. Socke Stalkers at the front as a little bit of a vanguard. However, a meet in the middle could actually be very costly for Socke right here. He does not have Zealot speed right now. He will by the time he goes in, but he doesn't have Protoss ground weapon level 1. He's got no Colossi support right now. This is a crucial window as far as I'm concerned. Sjow could do a lot of damage here. Pushing forward, good Marine count as well. No upgrades on them, really. Stim will be complete once he meets them. Doesn't have Marine shield yet. Never mind. Call me an idiot. Yes, he does. Now complete. That's going to make things a little bit difficult right now. And Sjow seeing what's coming in right now. Couple of forward Vikings and a point defense drone. Very handy. In comes the charge right here. And Sjow holds the line as much as possible. Now his point defense drone should be able to do a good job against the Stalkers. However, nice micromanagement. Socke is able to dodge out of the way of that point defense drone. And honestly, Sjow just got crushed right there. And the Immortal reaped a terrible toll on Shjow's forces. It looks like he might even take the tank as well. Great charge. There we go. On red HP. And down it goes. Socke with excellent play and a very smart move to actually avoid the range of that point defense drone. He saw it go down and immediately maneuvered his Stalkers round to the flank, whereby he couldn't hit it. Will he take another tank? I think he will. Shjow's been driven into the dirt right now. Here's counterattack. Might be able to take one Zealot. Looks for it, takes it. It's good, but unfortunately, he's going to lose a bunch of Marines in the process because of Shell is not available. No slowdown right here. That's one sliced and diced Marauder, and right into the line right here for Socke. Counter-attack coming in on Sjow right here. Does he have the forces that he needs? Doesn't look like he does. That Immortal is on full shield. It's going to tear through those forces. Marines focusing fire on it. The shield's hold. And into the mineral line. Freebies right here for Socke. Good aggression. And if he gets this warp in, his proxy pylon is still available. If he's able to warp it and reinforce, he can do terrible, terrible damage. Raven might even go down here. Socke decides to ignore it. He's more interested in that command center, and I don't really blame him. Command center on 75% HP and falling rapidly. Will it be able to get out of the way? It looks like he might be able to escape with it. Honestly, I don't think Socke really has the firepower. It's down at 50%. It's dropping. And Sjow able to maneuver that away almost immediately. Sjow redeploys with siege tanks. It's going to make things a little bit messy. However, the Immortal goes in the front and eats up most of that shelling. Zealots eats one and already loses one. In the meantime, point defense drone down. A lot of that Stalker firepower has been eliminated. Socke needs to bring that PDD down now. There we go, down it goes, and a counter-attack by Sjow, pushing him all the way away, might be able to set down Immortal. Immortal on 50% HP, not good, not good. Will Hero Immortal die? It's another stim and a charge right there. It is a counter-attack. It was drawing it out of position, using the Immortal as bait, and now a Colossus in the field. Not the kind of thing you want to see if you happen to be a Terran player. Zealots charge in the middle and sacrifice themselves, waiting for some reinforcements, trying to bait Sjow out, but Sjow is not having any of that. Absolutely not. Thermal Lance upgrade is not available now. It's just available as of 2 seconds ago. 3 Colossi coming up. That is unpleasant. Sjow needs to really hold this line. It's not going to happen because it's going to go straight for it. Socke raining it down right now. Tank already gone. Oh, wow. The Colossi is ripping through those forces of Marines. They're not going to hold. There is no way, surely, that they will hold against this kind of assault. Viking snipes that off by the looks of it. I think a Marine and Marauder actually got a heroic shot off. Socke driven away. Unbelievably driven away. Siege tank reinforcement in the back really helped out. Still, Socke cannot deliver that death blow. Right now, the economy of Sjow is not in a good state. He has lost a ton of SCVs. 48 total, folks. 48. Think about that. That's more than most platinum-level players building an entire game. It's absolutely absurd. These, of course, are Grand Masters, and you can see it. Now, in come the Dark Templar. That Raven is still in play, though, so I can't see just how effective those are really going to be. He's not able to warp them in a good position. However, he knows about this expansion. He has access to it. There is no defense available at all. That isn't good. Sjow's going to have to do a pick up and drop if he wants to defend this. Honestly, I think that's going down. It's already injured. It wasn't repaired after the previous encounter. Free mules right here with your purchase of 1 large coffee. And Sjow's going to get torn up. Orbital command center on fire. Will he be able to inflict that much damage? He looks for it. It's so close to going down. Oh, good God. 8 HP. 4, 3, 2, 1, and down it goes. No repair for him. And Sjow is in a bad way right now. In the meantime, the Vikings take a vicious counterattack. Raven down. Nicely done by Socke. That's what I'm talking about. Sjow, however, is still in such a bad way right now. He doesn't have the economy to really hold up against Socke. Socke has 3 fully saturated bases, and his economy is looking fantastic. In come the Dark Templar. The Raven was killed. Crucial. No missile turrets. Not good. Socke now rapidly realizing he can go for it. A scan will be able to deal with it almost immediately, but look at how much damage he'll be able to do. C-Shack, he looks for it, of course. He takes down one. Shelling in the mineral line and doing damage to his own SCVs. Needs to get out of range of that almost immediately. Will he survive? He will, in fact. Missile turret is going down, and there we go. Another scan wasted. Show's economy cannot afford that. Needs more mules down, and of course he can't afford to do it. And as far as I'm concerned, the assignment of that Dark Templar was successfully completed. In the meantime, High Templar coming on the field as well. Psionic Storm and Blink coming up for Socke. Army count looking really strong right now in favor of Socke, as is the worker count by a significant point. Of course, Sjow is one of those tenacious players. He doesn't like to give up, and he will fight to the end. And he's also very, very good. Just bear this in mind. Exceptional player. So he is certainly prepared, and he should be able to deal with this quite well. That said, some people will criticize Sjow for staying in the game for too long when he showed a good game. Then again, some people would also criticize other players for quitting out of games, and no names will be mentioned. Once again, Socke goes for it in the meantime. However, a Raven is there, so that's not going to happen. Fool me once, shame on you, and fool me twice, shame on me. It looks like Socke is going to have to go for the Hazelob's ball, as I like to call it, which is the ball of gateway units plus Colossi plus Dark Templar in the mix. A smart move, very difficult to target fire considering their size, and Socke moving forward with the High Templar. Will he be able to drop a Psystorm there? It's looking fairly unlikely considering the presence of the tanks right now. Sjow holding the line. However, look at this. There are only 4 mineral patches remaining. He is saturated. This is all gone. He needs to expand. That Dark Templar is ready, and Sjow is not escorting with a Raven. There's an opportunity right here. There really, really is. There's the warp in, and he's able to get a few Templar out in the process. That DT is still in the line. Free kills right here. One Marine torn apart. Looks for another. In comes the Raven. Needs to back off almost immediately. That's one dead DT. In the meantime, Socke looking for that counter push to follow it up. And he knows where this expansion is going. Socke is the master of denying, and I do mean denying expansions. And he's also the master of building a ton of Colossi. That's 7, folks. I am thinking that might actually do the job, considering the Marine Heavy Force right here. Oh, Storms as well. Insult to injury. Or is that just injury to injury? It's brutality. That's all I can say. Sjow lasted all of 3.5 seconds against that kind of thing. GG, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. Socke with a dominating performance right there. And he's 1-0 up in this series. Looking forward to it, folks. It's going to be on the Shakuras Plateau. It will be between Socke and Sjow. Socke took the first game. Sjow is actually at risk of being the first knockout of this tournament right now.
Really?
Yeah, only a 6-player tournament, so obviously it's been difficult to knock anybody out, but he's already in the losers bracket, having lost to his teammate Select, and he's now 1 game away from completely going out.
Sjow. That's not good, really. I mean, he didn't really have a successful week last weekend in Sweden, and now he's on the verge of going out against Socke, which I'm pretty sure he doesn't want.
Nope. Socke has been playing absolutely stellar games right now. And we're about ready to go into the game, folks. We don't want to hold this up. We want to make this as quick as possible. Obviously, plenty of StarCraft action coming your way. It's what you want, really, isn't it? It really is what you want. And this is the £5,000 Gadget Show Invitational, brought to you by Alienware in the game zone that is provided by Heaven Media and, of course, game.co.uk. Let's rock and roll, ladies and gentlemen. I bring you Socke in the light blue trunks. He is playing Protoss right here on the Shakuras Plateau to the southwest versus his opponent Sjow in the red trunks playing Terran to the southeast. And one of your teammates, as I recall.
Indeed, Sjow part of Team Dignitas with quite a large presence at this tournament, to be fair.
Mighty, yeah.
I mean, Bling, Select, Sjow, Naniwa,
yeah.
NLG champion.
Yeah,
wow.
4 out of 6 Dignitas players in this Invitational
really?
right now.
It's like a Dignitas Invitational.
Yeah, it's the Team Dignitas Invitational, isn't it? Yeah, that's what it is. And then we've got Socke from Team Attacks and also Mouse Sports. Yep, Mouse. Hazelobs has... Oh, God. I mean, Hazelobs has been playing so well up until this point. It really is absolutely stellar stuff.
He's a dominant player, has been for a long time, and he's really starting to show. I mean, results for the previous months of his StarCraft career haven't been that impressive, but in the last couple of months, probably, last 4 weeks, he's been showing some awesome results. And we'll have to see if he can manage to take down Team Dignitas, Fort Team Dignitas.
Yes, indeed, 4 of them. Bling's also been doing all right, considering it's his first major offline event. He actually took down Select in one of those matchups.
Very nice, actually.
Impressive stuff, yeah, it was a great play by him. The thing is, Select has been on fire this entire tournament. Literally on fire. I mean, you've seen his APM. I mean, he's already burnt out 1 Alienware keyboard that went up in smoke. You know, he's now on his 2nd. It is amazing to see him play.
Select, I've predicted it for a long time that he's actually going to be the best Korean. Well, he's a Korean, but the
Yeah,
best
he is,
outside of Korea
Yeah.
player. And he's just from his Dawn of War times, he played literally 16 hours a day, every day, 7 days. Unbelievable work ethic from that guy, and it's really starting to shine in his career recently.
Yeah, and he's been very inventive, actually. I mean, all the times that I've cast him, he's always come up with something particularly ridiculous. In fact, in a clan war that Team Dignitas was playing, he did go for Proxy Planetary Fortress in the opponent's base, which was fairly amusing. It didn't quite work. He was about 5 seconds off making it work, but
funny.
it was funny nonetheless. He actually still won that matchup, and he's also a great 2v2 partner with Sjow.
Yeah, they actually form a brilliant team, actually.
Oh, yeah. Yep, they're very, very dangerous. I've seen them win several 2v2 ace matches in Clan Wars that have decided to go that format. They are unstoppable. They, in fact, won the Game Creds Clan War by doing just that.
And in this game now, it looks like Show's going to go for fast expand, which is... He's 1 game behind, as we saw, and he kind of needs something to pull out. And going for an expansion build first on this map is really great, especially if you can get down these bunkers initially and hold off any form of attack. In that previous game, we saw Socke go for the 3-gate pressure, which didn't really do too much to Sjow, and he was in a great lead, but then accidentally threw it away in the mid stages against some awesome force fields from Socke.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Here's a little bit of a question for you as the analyst for this. If Socke had actually gone for 4-gate pressure as opposed to 3-gate, do you reckon he could have broken that bunker line?
Very possibly. I mean, he only had 2 sentries, I feel.
Yeah.
And with the 4-gate, he could have had a lot more in there and could have done a lot more pressure. But I don't think he was in... Well, I guess he could have broken, but that wasn't his plan. It was just to do as little pressure and just make Sjow pull off SCVs and so on. He could have killed him, but I think he did his job. But he lost way too many units. And like I said, Sjow did go into a very commanding mid-game lead, but unfortunately threw that away and was on the back foot for the rest of the game.
Yeah, that was very, very unfortunate. And Socke with some interesting combinations, insult to injury, just throwing in 7 Colossi plus High Templar, which really, Marines are not going to live through that.
That fight was, you know, nightmares.
Over in 3
Tears.
seconds. That's what it was. Terran do not want to see that kind of... Socke running up the ramp, taking... He almost lost his Stalker. That was a little bit impetuous.
That was pretty bad, actually, to be fair. Can't really think of any excuses for that one for Socke. That was just pretty bad.
Well, Socke is a very, very chilled out guy, and as we also discovered, he's very good at Mortal Kombat. He was playing in the arcade over there. He beat the crap out of me, I tell you that for a fact. He was very chilled out this morning when he came in, and then started listening to some melodic death metal, I believe, getting psyched up, the scary, scary German that he is.
The calmest way to prepare for a tournament, death metal.
That's the way to do it, actually. A lot of these guys in this tournament have been listening to metal. Hazuops, for instance, listens to Blind Guardian, which is a power metal band before that. I think Cloud does the same thing, actually. And Socke likes to listen to stuff that's even heavier than that, melodic death metal, things like Soilwork and Dark Tranquility, and a lot of bands that some people will have heard of and others will not. But yeah, it's good psych-up music, folks. Gets the psychology of the German into the kind of area that he wants to be in to crush his opponents.
Crush his opponent with that mentality. That's pretty scary, actually.
It is.
A
It's
German
terrifying.
listening to death metal playing you at Starcraft is not what you want to be doing.
And an efficient German as well. I mean, we know the Germans for their efficiency, but Socke is probably one of the most efficient Protoss players I've ever seen in terms of maximum units killed to minimum units lost.
That is pretty good, actually.
Yep. 4 barracks play from Sjow. We're not seeing the legendary 7 barracks approach that was patented by TLO, and I don't think it's been used by anybody since then. We actually saw Sjow go for an interesting build, which was 7 macro orbital command centers.
Really?
Yeah, 7. Just he built them all at once as well.
Yesterday?
Yeah. He lost, I think, that match, but it was a 40-minute game versus Select on Shikuras Plateau, in fact.
Who needs SCVs when you can have 7
Yeah,
orbital commands?
that was actually
mules?
what he said to me after that. He's like, well, I didn't want any SCVs anymore because I want to build a bigger army.
Yeah.
So I killed all my SCVs, did nothing but build mules, and built a massive army.
That's a good strategy.
It almost worked as well, but Select went for the patented 6 starport approach, then built battle cruisers.
Oh.
So that was a good game. I enjoyed that very much as a Terran player.
And very early +1 attack, even before Stim, which is surprisingly early actually, and upgrades are coming more into fashion. And that was one of the biggest reasons why Sjow lost that previous game as I was watching over here. He didn't have any upgrades.
He was
and
a little short on
fighting
them, yeah.
against the 1-1 Protoss army, it's not too good.
No, it was a Marine heavy force as well, and the first thing that Socke actually went for when he saw that is +1 armor, which is becoming more and more popular really to deal with Marines. I don't blame him. I actually saw in a game against Bling had +3 armor. Yeah, he had no weapon upgrades, +3 armor and Guardian Shield, and his opponent had +1 weapon, so Ghost Rifles were doing 1 damage a shot.
Survivability.
Yeah, no kidding. It's like no Zealot died in that fight.
Sjow needs to survive this attack right now. Basically having 2 base, 6 warp
6
gates.
gate, yeah.
And only 2 bunkers, but a lot of Marine stim. Not really near completion.
It's not.
Plus 1 attack
This is a
either.
crucial window, and Socke is not going to let it slide either. That is really concerning. This could be the end of it. Guardian Shield is up as well. But there we go. Can Sjow hold this? He looks for it, trying to inflict the damage on the bunker right here. Blocks off one. Slaughters Marines in their droves. SCV's blocked from that. However, Socke is pushed backwards. The thing is, I don't think he's going to wait too long for another attack.
No, he has to push back. That didn't work. You can clearly see. Didn't do any damage at all. And plus 1 attack is not too far from finishing stim also. So the more seconds that Sjow has right now, the better it's going to be for him. And Socke actually deciding to go in again.
And that's a little bit risky, especially with that sentry at the front right there. Very easy to pick that one up. Force field's blocking it off right there, but he's inflicting no damage. This is not good for Socke at all. It picks off a Marine, but that was hardly worthwhile.
Yeah, then force field's not really splitting the army up, which is what you kind of want to do. He's holding the army back, but at the same time, 2 bunkers, 4 Marines each. 8 Marines total, doing a lot of damage there. Stim is about to be completed also. And now, Socke once again giving Sjow a bit of an early game lead. And now we'll have to see if Sjow can manage and control that advantage into the later stages of this game.
Yes, indeed. Well, if we have a look at the economic situation right now, you can see on the comparison right here that Sjow is very slightly ahead thanks to mules, but nothing else. His work account is fairly good as well. He's 52 to 50, which is not what you want if you're the Protoss player. Protoss usually have the lead at this stage of the game in terms of workers, but not right now. And Sjow's actually macroing extremely well.
I know somebody must have told Sjow that I was watching his game and he stepped up a level because +1 armor is now being researched as well as the shells for the Marauders. Medivacs are coming out, and now Sjow's starting to look. Actually, it looks like he might have 2 starports. I'm not sure if that is a double reactor or not on the starport. Might be just a barracks.
Well,
actually, yes,
look, it's almost guaranteed that he's going to do a swap around here, isn't it? Really, considering the timing of it. Yep, there you go.
Very nice.
That will be a swap around. That's going to be mass medivac. And Sjow's actually not really been heavy on the drops up until this point in this tournament. And I think he might start to change that because he's lost a few games as a result of not harassing his opponent well enough.
Well, I mean, that is Sjow's style. It's how he plays. He's very aggressive with drops. I mean, he beat White Raw in the IEM Kiev by dropping all the time. He knocked out Huck last weekend by continually dropping and Banshee harassment. And 2 starports with reactors is going to be a lot of medivacs, and is a very, very easy switch over to Vikings if Colossus starts to be made. Which
is exactly what's coming out, so Sjow is well prepared for this. He's also expanding behind this push. This is looking a little bit risky now for Socke. I am a little bit scared for him. His army supply is starting to lag behind a little bit. He does not have a Colossus on the field yet. He will soon, but extended thermal lance is a good minute away from finishing at least. Sjow with the stim push right now on the cliff. Snipes off a Zealot in the process. Not the most efficient way that I would have gone, honestly. Looks to charge up the ramp. He needs to watch out for those force fields, however. The Colossus is up. He doesn't really have a huge amount of range, but great force field split, and those guys are going to get butchered. However, how much damage can Sjow do in the meantime? Marines dropping like flies, hurrying chews through the Colossus, and Socke is going to be forced backwards here. You might think he holds, though. His Guardian Shield's doing immense protection, and that +1 is really helping him out as well in terms of the armor, and Sjow soundly defeated by that particular play.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a lot of reinforcements coming up, and he could go up and do a lot of pressure. No more Colossus are out. A lot of Marauders going back is probably the wisest decision.
They're badly injured.
Units are injured, indeed.
Yeah, they're very badly injured. Those medivacs won't be able to heal them up in time, and Socke with a counter push takes out a couple of Marauders and a Marine in the process right here, and Socke will pull us up the Templar Archives. Very sensible. Get some Storms on the field. Upgrade is still not available right now for Colossi. Will be in a few seconds, but yeah, that was damaging for both sides. We can have a look at units lost, and we can see just how much. Socke actually did end up losing more in that fight, and actually just sacrificed the Zealot for no real reason there, and Sjow's going to keep piling it on.
And that's the way to deal with the Protoss Death Ball. I mean, you expand behind, you take it down, you whistle it down so it's not as strong as it was before, and then you expand and you just build up your force, and your opponent's a little bit crippled. Now we do see the Protoss having very, very small compared to how it was before. You can tell by the food count as well that Sjow is starting to pull ahead.
Yep, the army count is looking very nice for Sjow, and this expansion is operational. We do have a planetary fortress coming down. We've got a missile turret to make sure we get no nasty Dark Templar harassment. As DTs have been coming into play almost all the time. Sjow using a couple of Marines to scout, just wants to keep an eye on the force composition of his opponent. An Immortal is in the mix, but only one. It's not going to make a huge amount of difference. Socke needs to deal with this one. Marine will, of course, be easily dealt with. However, it did get valuable scouting information.
And I really like the way that Socke is actually transitioning, not from building Colossus. He knows he can't get the right amount of Colossus out. There are too many Vikings, so he's actually just going to switch over into Immortal, combined with the High Templar Storm upgrade, which is, you know, horrible upgrade to play against if you're Terran.
Yeah, it's nasty stuff. And Show's going to respond with a Ghost Academy. Select's actually been playing with nothing but Ghosts this entire time. Every time he goes against Protoss, he goes heavy into Ghosts. He's been using them very well. And of course, against High Templar, Ghosts are optimal.
And the thing with Sjow is actually he stops upgrades at 1-1 a lot of the time and never goes for 2.
Yeah.
And that's one of his faults. I've told him about it. I'm like, dude, why don't you just get +2 when you're in infantry? He's like, I don't know, I always stop at 1-1. I'm like, no, you need to do that. And we'll have to see. He does have another engineering bay down, plus the armory's about to finish, so 2-2 should be on its way now. But here comes a commanding force from Sjow.
It's looking particularly nasty from him, and honestly, I think Sjow will go for 2-2, because I just saw him throw down another engineering bay, and his armory is just completed right now. Sjow pushing forward once again, a lot of firepower at his disposal, should be able to break this line very easily. However, here it comes. Oh my god, the Colossi taken out almost immediately. That didn't work out well for him. Storm right now. Sjow needs to get the hell out of there. Another Storm. Sjow, get the hell out of there. Huge losses right now for Sjow. Unable to micromanage out of that, and now the Immortals are ripping through those Marauders. Show's force just got crushed. Actually, as a direct result of not really micromanaging quickly enough. An Archon on the field. However, here come the reinforcements, and Sjow turns the tables. Socke driven away. 1 down, 2 down. It's good play. And now I would be very concerned about this expansion. That's a free zealot. Can he take another? There comes the High Templar. Doesn't have the energy. Almost down. Also immediately looks for feedback. Blows a medivac out of the sky. But that is one free Nexus for Sjow right now.
And that's a killing blow from Sjow. Nexus is going to go down. Hardly any reinforcements from Socke to back this up. And Sjow is looking in a dominant position right now. There's hardly anything Socke can do to come back from this. He's trying to get Colossus up, as the Viking count did get ripped apart as they landed. But I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem for Sjow to clear out this game.
Oh yeah, look at this. Army supply 80 to 15. That just isn't even funny. Worker supply just fell flat on its ass. Nothing is going to happen right now for Socke. It is not going to work out for him. He does have 4 Templar. That will certainly help him out, but I'd be very concerned, especially if Ghosts get on the field. There are already 2 in there, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Sjow throw even more. And he can easily snipe them out and also take them out with an EMP ran. It works. I mean, Sjow is really just needs to mass now, I suppose.
He can just sit there. He can just sit outside this 2 base of Socke, take a 4th, as he is doing, you can see on the mini-map, and it's pretty easy for him from here. I mean, he doesn't have to do anything. It's down to Socke to change the game around. When you're in a commanding league like this, you literally don't do anything. You sit out your opponent's base and you wait for him to come. Because when you're winning, it's up to your opponent to change that.
Yeah, and right now I don't think Socke actually has the forces or the economy to really support it. The income comparison is highly in favor of Sjow. He's got double his opponent's income. His gas is coming in as well. Sjow is looking for the killing blow. He is going for 2-2. Evidently, he was listening to you, Apollo. Yeah,
man. He's on the same team. He's like my boss.
Yeah.
I tell him. Well, actually, that doesn't really make too much sense.
No. EMP at the front right now. Oh, a devastating storm. And Sjow is taking huge amounts of damage. Socke might even be able to hold this. It's looking pretty good for him. However, he's very, very limited forces. Reinforcements coming in, and now I'm afraid not. That ain't going to happen. Those Archons probably won't even get to play. GG, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. That's one apiece in this best of 3 series.
GG, and Sjow looking pretty good on the camera right now. As you see, wipes his hands, wipes his nose.
Like a boss.
Like a boss. Cleans his nose like a boss. He's ready to get rid of Socke out of this tournament. Loser bracket.
Yep, one's going out. Certainly.
One is definitely going out, and you can see there we are at the Gadget Show live, Invitational here in the loser bracket, Sjow versus Socke.
Because we've got a great matchup coming up right here. You can even hear the countdown in the background. Going to go straight into it. It will be Socke v Sjow on the crevasse, and one of these guys is going out.
Yeah, they are indeed, and I don't think either player wants to go out. The prize money from this Alien West sponsored tournament is intense. It is so big. A lot of money on the line for both of these players.
Yep, Socke in the light blue trunks right here, up to the northwest of this map. This is the crevasse, ladies and gentlemen. He is playing Protoss versus his opponent, the one and only Sjow in the red trunks. He is playing Terran down to the southwest.
It is showtime, and this map is awesome. I really like this map, actually. Even from a Zerg player's perspective, with the 1 gas natural expansion, I still enjoy it. I've seen a lot of awesome games on this map, and I'm pretty sure we're in for a treat here. Europe's 2 best players, not top 2 best players, but
easily in the top 10.
Top 10 here.
We have half the top 10 right here in the studio, in fact. You know, 5 of the 6 players in these are very highly internationally ranked, especially in Europe.
I mean, yeah, these guys are deadly. I mean, you would not want to be walking down a dark alley with an Alienware laptop, because these guys would be owning you up.
That I can guarantee. And thanks to Alienware for sponsoring this particular tournament, by the way. £5,000 on the line for these guys. That's a lot of money for a 2-day payoff. Looking pretty good, and all of these guys want it so very, very bad, and you've seen it through their play so far.
What is the first prize place? Like, and it's a £5,000 prize pool, but what is first place? Do you know?
I'm fairly sure it's at least over half of that.
Oh, £3,000 is a lot of money.
Yep. It certainly
that's
is.
a very nice car too.
Yes, it is.
It's a £3,000 car right there.
Nothing wrong with that.
Who's going to be driving it though?
Nothing wrong with that. I'd like to know what Socke is doing.
He's going Nexus first.
Is he going Nexus first? Yeah,
Indeed,
he is.
He is.
I barely ever see Protoss do that.
Just because the way this map up, I mean, on certain maps you can get away with it. This map is one of them. The way that you have this very, very small choke, as you can see the pro about to pass by it. I mean, look at that, very small, and you got the rocks there to help keep the ramp extremely small.
Yeah.
And you can get away with it. And on the other hand, we do have Sjow, who decided to go barracks first. We'll have to see, does he get gas on the minimap? It doesn't look like it, so it looks like Sjow is going to be going one barracks, few Marines into an expansion himself.
Interesting stuff right here. It's kind of a shame that he's doing that, because if he got hyper-aggressive right now, admittedly that would involve scouting his opponent, which is going to be a little bit tricky. And that's why it's kind of safer to do this, I suppose. One, you do it at the back, and that's out of reach usually of most scouts, depending on if you've got a stalker out by that point. And secondly, of course, it's quite a big map, and Sjow hasn't found him yet.
And one of the things we should note now is that Hazjob's actually tried to go into the base of Sjow and was denied scouting information by the Marine here, as you can see on screen. And that is pretty big, because in a game such as Starcraft 2, it is so important to find out what your opponent's doing.
Oh,
I mean, for right now, for all Socke knows, he could have 3-4 barracks there, or the notable 7 barracks, but we don't know anything. And indeed he's gone for an expansion. So Socke is going to have to play a little bit cautious here, as he doesn't really know what's going on.
Show's getting very unlucky with his scouting right now, honestly, and by the looks of it, I don't know, Socke may be able to get a stalker out in time. It's looking unlikely, though, so I don't think he's going to be able to deny scouting effectively, especially not just with Zealots.
I have no idea what this SCV's just done. It started off in the bottom left position, obviously where Sjow is, and it went all the way to the top right, then it went down to the bottom right, and then went back up to the top right. It's extremely confusing. Sjow not really knowing where his opponent is. And even if he tries to scout now, it's going to be pretty much heavily denied by the stalker that is about to come out.
It will come out as well. That is a very, very slow scout. Sjow is not known for his scouting aptitude, I have to say. That's probably one of his weak points in his play, and people have been exploiting that lately. The Stalker will be out. Zealot just ignores it. However, Stalker will deny by the looks of it. He's going to spot 2 gateways in a Cybernetic score. If you were Sjow right now, would you be thinking expansion first thing?
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at 5:25 minutes scout, and by this time, if he was going for 3 or 4 gates, then he most definitely would have had the warp gate almost finished, and it hadn't been finished. The chrono boost is on the gateway, not the cybernetics core, so he's pretty safe about that. He's going to get a bunker up just in case of any 2-3 gate pressure.
Yeah.
And when you only have Marines without stim and so on, you can lose a lot to just stalkers on their own.
Oh,
so
yeah.
He's going to get that bunker up just to be super safe.
Yep, Stalkers with the range advantage, Stalkers with the armor advantage, Stalkers with the health advantage. And what the hell more do you want? Stalkers just beat Marines, let's be honest, unless Marines outnumber them, and of course have stim or shield. Starport is on its way up for Sjow. Will we see more Hero Banshee?
It looks like it, because he's got the factory, he's got the tech lab on the factory, and we'll be wanting to switch to that. We'll have to see, does he get a Hellion first or something? He's got a little bit of time before that Starport finishes.
Yeah, of course.
He's actually going to go for a tank first. And I might actually stick with that and not go for a Banshee, possibly adding a tech lab of its own onto that starport.
Yeah, I mean, I would have thought a Banshee would be a good idea, considering his opponent fast expanded at the back. And look at all the airspace you've got around here. Very, very easy to harass this particular expansion, especially since Socke has gone straight for a robotics bay. And he doesn't have a forge up either, so no cannons and a minimal number of Stalkers for the time being.
And the tech lab has been put down on the starport, so most likely to be seeing a Raven, especially to complement all these Marines. Obviously, the direct counter to Marines is going to be a lot of Stalkers, and the Raven has the brilliant point defense drone.
Oh, yes. Although Socke has actually been able to outmaneuver the point defense drone in the past. We saw an engagement where Sjow ended up losing as a result of that, where Socke saw the PDD go down. He immediately just flanked to the right and got out of range of the PDD. It was very effective.
Sounds pretty good, actually.
Oh, it was fun,
and,
yeah.
Going for Banshee doesn't have that much gas, really, especially because on the natural expansion here, you only have the one Vespian geyser, so the one refinery don't get that much gas.
Yeah.
So a little bit hard to go for the Ravens. They do cost 200 gas. We do see the Observer from Socke moving in now, seeing everything. and no Raven is out, so the Observer has pretty much free reign over Sjow's base.
Yep, no problem whatsoever. He will spot perhaps that Banshee. Nah, that will be right about now. There we go. And he'll even see it popping out as well. So the response to that is going to be what exactly?
Well, he's going to have to, well, he's actually going to go for Colossus. And well, against Banshees, you're going to need a lot of defense because they're going to be coming around. And Sjow has so good use of the Banshees. He has to be super careful about that. And at the same time, Socke moving out. He doesn't really have any units inside his base, and a Raven is being made the second unit from the starport.
It's a little bit dicey right now for Socke. Will he be able to push it away? If he warps in a couple of stories, he should be fine. And actually, it looks like Socke being forced backwards in the meantime. Here comes the Banshee. And how much damage will be inflicted, we will find out, certainly. Let's have a look at those mineral lines. Very vulnerable. Very vulnerable. Both of them, in fact, looking pretty dicey. And unfortunately, Socke is ready to receive. He sees it coming, actually passes that pylon, which gives him the couple of seconds he needs to snipe it off. Oh my god, excellent play by Socke. Not even a rocket fired by Sjow.
That's really bad for Sjow, actually. You can't waste money like that, especially playing at such a high level as these both are. And unfortunately for him, that's going to hurt his mid-game a lot. And now we even see Socke taking a third base at the position over here. And here's complete map control, map dominance, map presence. What more can you say with the word map in it? Socke has it.
Oh, he does, folks. And while we come up with more phrases with the word map in them to fill time, Socke is sitting on a Colossus and he is ready to pounce. His army size is looking good. His army supply slightly ahead of Sjow right now. Admittedly, he is going up against bunkers, so they do count a little bit. Actually, Sjow is looking for push forward, I can only imagine, considering he just sacrificed that. Either that or he just did it so that he could get a quick amount of money to build something. We'll find out. There we go. Command center moving out for him. He has built that one already, so he'll look to expand down here. However, Socke is lurking. He's lurking around, and a lot of damage could be inflicted to that expansion if it were to go down. Sjow forced to roll out in order to defend it.
He's going to have to switch over to Vikings soon, too. There are a lot of Colossus in production.
Oh, yeah.
Another one just about to finish here, too. And he hasn't really got that many medivacs. You don't see the double starport like we saw in the previous games, so it's very hard to get both amounts of units out.
Yeah, absolutely. He needs to get a good number of medivacs out, considering the number of Marines he has. I mean, only 2. It's not an amazing number. But as you said before, yes, Vikings are required, really. The tanks will deal reasonable damage to the Colossi, but the thing is, once they've got the range upgrade, which they already have, I might point out, they can very easily flank around, considering the limited vision range of that kind of force, which is no doubt going to stay in a nice big ball. And that's dangerous. You don't want to ball up Marines against Colossi. That is just a death sentence.
And we look at the Fucat now. Very cool from both players. Socke did get that third base up a little bit faster, though the worker supply count is in favor of Sjow at the moment, as you can see. And we'll have to see how he can use that to his advantage. And it looks like a few units are moving forward, taking out the turret. Not really too much damage. It does get a cancel.
Yeah, it cancels out the sensor tower. Doesn't lose a Stalker in the process, so you can't really complain about that. Takes a free SCV as well. Another sensor tower coming down right now for Sjow. Sjow playing very defensively right now. And do you think he's really comfortable with this style?
Well, he's got these mass tanks out, so he has to play defensively. They're so immobile. He's going to have to move very slowly across the map. But once you have this huge amount of tanks out, you just easily switch over to Ghost Academy, and then all of a sudden you have such a huge force to play around with. And we'll have to see when he does decide to go for that Ghost Academy. We do have +1 attack for the infantry just about to be finished. No upgrades for the mech units though at the moment.
Nothing yet, no, nothing yet. I think, to be fair, Sjow is not the kind of person that really puts a lot of upgrades into vehicles usually. If he ends up with heavy mech, which is kind of unusual. I mean, I don't usually see him throwing out Thors a lot. He seems to have gone off Hellions lately.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't really use Hellions that much at all. And actually, when you do have a lot of tanks, Hellions, Blue Flame Hellions are so good because usually you have to combat a lot of Zealots. And Blue Flame Hellions are awesome for doing that.
Through 'em.
And we do see Sjow just moving around, scouting for any observer that is in position, as he wants to try and get a 4th base up quite soon. And we already see Socke with a 4th base, just one step ahead of Sjow all the time.
Oh yeah, however, bear in mind that his army supply count is actually lagging a little bit behind Sjow. And if Sjow is able to get a critical mass of units, he's already reaching supply cap right now. You can see it right there, almost there. Looking likely. He's 20 off it, now 15.
We do have the Ghost Academy being researched as well as the army being added on to get those up to upgrades, but it looks like Socke is getting ready to move forward, possibly taking out that sensor tower, but it actually survives.
It survives on 30 HP. The thing is, it's on fire and it actually isn't being repaired right now. Down to 15, it's going down. It is going down. Oh dear. Ah! No!
Missed it. That's like missing the train. Like the doors close and it drives away.
Why? Yeah, I think he was actually obscured by his own units. He couldn't see it there because it was behind the Raven. Maybe he doesn't have health bars on or something.
And now this has a huge window for Socke. If he can move in
that's
now.
risky. That is risky. A blink out of nowhere and grabbing as many units as he can right now, and now putting that. He might actually be able to take this almost immediately. Oh, wow, that was a critical misstep for Sjow.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I said. The window is huge there. The thing is with this mech army is that they're so immobile, it takes like 5, 10, 15 seconds to actually set up onto the 4th base. And Socke jumps in there immediately and snipes that command center. Very, very nice. And Sjow on the back foot, facing up against a 4-base Protoss, could possibly be 5-base soon. And not looking good at all. He's going to have to really concentrate on his army control, and especially great ghost uses that we do see them coming
Absolutely.
out now.
He needs a big victory. He needs something decisive that will put Socke on the back front so he can regain the momentum and also regain the map presence as well.
Indeed, and he does have has no map control at all, no Zell, no
None.
towers. He's camped up, and it looks like Sjow is preparing to move forward. He has a lot of bio units here, complemented very nicely by a lot of tanks. He is moving out, needs to get up to this 4th base.
Yeah, his upgrade level is looking fairly good. He's just finished his, at least he will in about 10 seconds, his infantry armor level 1. He does have vehicle weapon level 1 coming out as well. 5 more gates being built right now for Socke. In come the feedback. He's able to blast, I think, 1 medevac out of the sky, and storms to follow it up as the aircraft ram into them and take a huge amount of damage. That's quite critical considering I don't think he doesn't have any SCVs with him, so he can't fix those up. And Socke should be able to snipe out those Vikings quite rapidly, and if he's able to do that, those Colossi will reap a terrible toll on his opponent.
Brilliant storms actually by Socke.
Oh yeah.
Here. And nice feedback on the point defense drone.
Yeah, didn't know you could even do that. There you go.
Completely wiping that out. But it is going to be very, very hard to engage this army. He only has 1 Immortal. He's going to have to start working on more Immortals to try and break this down. And I wouldn't be surprised if we do see a 5th base added quite soon for Socke, just to back his army up over and over. Just moving around the map, seeing does Sjow have anything around here. Possibly looking for a better position to try and engage this army. It's going to be very difficult. These siege tanks, so difficult to engage into.
Yeah, he doesn't want to go there, and I don't really blame him. The thing is, with this lack of map control, there is a real vulnerability for this area right here. I'm surprised Socke doesn't go for it. He's got to flank him right here, and then take him from the side. However, the thing is, Sjow is well prepared for this. That said, the range of those siege tanks is not looking good. It's actually covering a lot of useless terrain there, so I don't think that's really optimal positioning. What do you think?
And he's going to stop anything moving up, and that Immortal is going to walk straight into a death trap. He might be able to get 1 tank, though. That's going to be huge.
Oh, yeah, that makes a big difference. And also, he took a lot of covering fire right here. Colossi flying in. Storms, Colossi, burning Marines. What else can you say to that one? Another storm. Look at that. The charred bodies litter the floor. Socke with only Colossi remaining, however. Colossi being torn apart. A few Stalkers remaining in that force. Socke will be forced back, but wow, Sjow just lost a huge number of units.
That was a brilliant split up by Socke there. Come from 2 directions to come in here, and now he is moving in again. Sjow very weak right now.
Yep, that is a little bit risky right now. Socke bringing down the fire. Can he kill the point? Well, he's to kill a planetary fortress. A storm on all those immobile mules. That's nasty. Rip them apart. And no tanks for you, I'm afraid, Sjow. Only a few Templar remaining, no energy really in them. They'll probably have to merge to Archons momentarily. Here comes the push, but it's instantly annihilated by the ravening laser energy of those Colossi who are currently sitting on level 2 upgrades. Not what you want to see. And the Gravitic Drive upgrade coming up for Socke. Not exactly the most common drive, well, any upgrade really.
Well, he's got the Warp Prism out. He wants to be starting to use that a lot. I mean, drops into the back of Show's base are going to be devastating, especially with this immobile army. But he has so many minerals. He was up to 3,500 minerals, and he just can't spend it.
No, he can't.
With using all these gas-heavy units when all this trapped.
Oh
in
no!
actually,
Oh no!
that
is kind of amusing. Yeah, it's a little bit worrying they did that. And in the meantime, you've got the Warp Prism in the back right here, I believe, and we've got an engagement at the front. And that planetary fortress is going to be ripped apart. Down it goes. This might even be the final push. However, Sjow is not letting. I think he just walked right into another storm.
Yeah, I mean, these storms combined with the Colossus doing so much damage. Couple of storms, then Colossus, few waves, completely dead. And Sjow is actually going to go for a couple of nukes now. We do see them in production. His last hope to try and come into this game. He needs his 4th base, as now Socke has taken a 5th base. and is so far ahead in economy.
Oh, yeah.
Even though Sjow has a lot of money banked up, it's soon going to be wasted out, and Socke can replenish, and nukes could be the saving factor. He needs to pull off a great one.
It's possible. If Socke is not expecting that, especially bearing in mind the very large footprint of his army. The thing about nukes that you've got to bear in mind is just how small that red dot actually is, and the positioning of the nuke, if put in the right place, is difficult to see. Socke will, of course, hear the audio alert, but he might not know where it is. He might expect harassment. Considering he's on 5 bases, he's got a lot of areas to check. Nuke could be effective, and it is, as you said, a kind of a last-ditch clutch move. Here comes the nuke at the front. That was questionable, honestly. Why did he do that?
Well, it's kind of a mind game to see if he can make his opponent walk into it. Unfortunately not. He's going to go straight for the engagement.
That is going to not fall in Sjow's favor, I don't think. But you never know. He does have a large force of Marauders. He's able to catch him out of position. Actually, look at that. The air-to-ground, the ground-to-air, in fact, firepower of Socke is actually kind of poor right now. And he's not able to deal with the Viking count.
Yeah, I mean, the upgrades of Sjow 2-2 are very nice. And he had a great EMP on that army, actually, which demolished Socke's army.
Oh, yeah.
And now Sjow looking in pretty good fashion, but like I said, his money is starting to dry out. He needs to get another base up soon, otherwise he won't be able to go into the later stages of this game.
Yeah, he might, if he wants to build another nuke, you might want to save for something useful as opposed to that banner nuke that he did right there. It's like, oh yeah, I'm just going to drop a nuke just to show that I can. And I don't know, as you were saying, maybe it is mind games. It's showing my opponent, hey, I've got nukes, I'm willing to use them, and you're going to have to be a little bit more careful with what you actually do. And it might cause Socke to focus a little bit more on the defense of his bases. You never know.
How many probes does Socke have, out of question, if you go to that?
72 right now versus
it's not
46.
too much. I'm just looking because he's at 200 food, but his army isn't that impressive. Has a lot of units spread across the map.
Socke's been known to do this, actually. He's sent probes to his death in the past. Here we go, another storm at the front. Sjow just keeps walking into those things. That's not pleasant. He needs to bring it in. The meantime, however, that ground-to-air fire is much better. Picks off one. Look at that. Look at how injured those Vikings are. He could kill all of them right now with a single volley. And he takes one. Looks for a second. Not too great there by Socke. He could have done more damage there. Sjow fighting for his life, but actually holding on very well.
Yeah, I mean, he's holding on, but as I keep repeating over and over, he just doesn't have the late-game economy to be fighting, you know, over the 25-minute mark. He's on one base probably. The rest are almost mined out. And he's trying to move around, but Zealot's been walking, consistently denying expansions. Great holding off by Socke.
Socke is the master of denying expansions, folks. He's been doing this the entire tournament and has done so incredibly well on very long games, including 45-minute games. I think it was actually either against Select or Sjow. It was definitely against a Terran player. I think it was Select he was against. Socke just kept stopping him. I think he blew up 5 command centers, all going to the same place over and over again. It was messy. Another engagement right here. Will Socke be able to go in? That's still, that's a potent force he's going to run into right now. I think just throwing him against the storms. Oh my god, Sjow not moving. Sjow loses his entire front line, torn apart. Socke with the firepower right now. A Thor doing very little, let's be honest. Socke looking for the final push. Does he have the firepower he needs? He looks for it. Planetary Fortress taking huge amounts of damage. However, Socke pushed back again.
Yeah, I mean, he's just keeping pushing. It's so hard to actually engage a Planetary Fortress, especially when there's 3 tanks hugging it. That is pretty impressive defense there by Sjow, holding on to this game. But how can he go into the later stages? You look at that income now, it's so bad. Yep,
it's not good at all. Sjow shelling his own SCVs out of sheer frustration by the looks of it. A lot are just trying to... thing is, there's no point in killing the SCVs now because he is only at half his supply count. I would have maybe understood that later. He's got heavy upgrades coming in, but that's not going to help him all that much. I mean, the army count is... It's look at that. I mean, it's 108 to 66. His worker count is nowhere near Socke's. Socke just needs to rain down the death blow. And right now, he just isn't quite able to do it, but it is still 3-3 Protoss right now. In for another push right now. Argos to back it up. A free snipe at that group of units. He surely has what he needs to break him this time.
So hard to engage. 4 tanks now. I mean, he has basically his army could beat Sjow's army 5 times over. The fact that he keeps engaging into the Planetary Fortress makes it extremely difficult to do.
Yep, Archon with 13 kills right there. I believe that was inherited from the Templar that it came out of, however. It hasn't been able to do a huge amount of it.
Man.
Yep, shield upgrades. level 1. We actually saw level 3 shields being used in a game in this tournament. It was that crazy. It went on for that long. Sjow eating more and more and more storms. However, that was actually a missed storm right there by Socke. Stormed his own Zealots. No Zealots were now easily defeated as a result of that. A flanking attack right here by Sjow. And those Colossi are going to take a lot of firepower. He's losing one. He needs to retarget immediately. A second Colossi is going to die in the process as well. So that was a bit of a problem. However, the Planetary Fortress was taken out in the process. Those Colossi holding the line. That one looking very weak right here. Pushes in once again. Here's the stim. Army count not looking. GG, ladies and gentlemen. Our first casualty of this tournament. Sjow is out as Socke with the win.